Today we're making Bolo Prestígio, a popular Brazilian chocolate cake with a creamy coconut filling inside. We'll start by making the filling. Pour one 14-ounce can of sweetened condensed milk into a saucepan. Add 1 2/3 cup of heavy cream. While I'm using heavy cream, regular whipping cream will work too, though it may need a tad longer on the stove. Next, add in 1 1/4 cups of unsweetened shredded coconut. And finally, add 1 1/2 tablespoons of butter. Mix everything until it's combined. What makes this cake so special is that the coconut filling goes in before baking. There's no slicing or assembling the layers afterwards, since everything bakes together. Place the saucepan on the stove and turn the heat down to low. Cook the mixture gently, stirring constantly so nothing sticks to the bottom. Once it begins to bubble, keep cooking it for about 5 minutes. Pull the saucepan from the heat and transfer the filling to a wide dish so it cools more quickly. We need it to reach room temperature, so don't pop it in the fridge. We want it cool, but still soft enough to spread easily. While the filling cools, we can make the batter. Crack 3 eggs into a clean bowl. Room temperature eggs are best here. Add 3/4 cup plus 2 tablespoons of sugar. And mix everything well. There's no need for a stand mixer. Just whisk until the eggs and sugar are smooth and slightly lighter in color. Add 1/2 cup of neutral oil. Then pour in 1 cup of milk. Just like the eggs, it's better if the milk isn't pulled out straight from the fridge. Mix everything together again. The oil is what helps this chocolate cake stay soft and moist, even when it's straight out of the fridge. Let's move on to prepping the dry ingredients. We'll need 2 1/3 cups of all-purpose flour. Cake flour will also work if you have it. Add 1/2 cup of unsweetened cocoa powder and 1 tablespoon of baking powder. Sift everything together to break up any lumps from the cocoa and help the baking powder spread evenly. Here, give the dry mixture a quick stir. Make sure you're using unsweetened cocoa powder, not a sweetened hot chocolate mix, which would throw off the sweetness and the texture of the cake. Add about half of the dry ingredients to the wet mixture. Whisk gently until most of the flour disappears, then add the remaining dry ingredients. Adding them in portions makes everything easier to combine and helps prevent dry pockets and lumps. It also means we don't have to overmix the batter, which keeps the cake softer. And while we finish mixing, I just want to say thank you for spending a little time in the kitchen with me. If you're enjoying the recipe, liking and subscribing really help me continue making videos like this. Take your baking pan and line it with parchment paper so the cake will be easier to remove later. Pour in 1/2 of the chocolate batter, then gently spread it into an even layer. Make sure the batter reaches all the way into the corners and completely covers the bottom of the pan. While it doesn't need to look perfectly smooth, the layer should be fairly even. Bring back the coconut filling, which should have cooled to room temperature, and spoon it over the first layer of batter. Try not to press it down or mix it into the chocolate batter. We want it to stay as a separate, creamy layer in the center. I get really excited about this part and just can't stop mentioning it. The filling being baked into the cake saves so much time and hassle. Next, pour the remaining chocolate batter over the filling and gently spread it across the surface. Be very gentle and take the batter all the way to the corners without disturbing the coconut layer underneath. Finally, slide that cake in the oven. I bake it on the middle rack for about 35 to 40 minutes. Once it's done, let the cake cool completely to room temperature. Meanwhile, we can prepare the chocolate ganache. Finely chop about 5 ounces of chocolate. Semi-sweet or dark chocolate works especially well here because it balances the sweetness of the coconut filling. Milk chocolate will also work, but the finished cake will be much sweeter. Try to cut the chocolate into small, even pieces. The smaller the pieces, the faster and more evenly they'll melt when the hot cream goes in. Transfer the chopped chocolate to a clean bowl and set it aside for a moment. Now we need to heat 2/3 of a cup of heavy cream. Pour it into a saucepan, preferably one with a heavy bottom. Place the saucepan on the stove and turn the heat to medium. Heat the cream until you see steam and small bubbles beginning to form around the edges. Then pour the hot cream over the chopped chocolate. The cream should be hot enough to melt the chocolate, but it shouldn't be at a rolling boil. If it's not hot enough, you may end up with unmelted pieces. But if it overheats, the ganache can become oily or separate. Keep mixing until the ganache is smooth and shiny. For the final touch, add 1 tablespoon of butter. This gives the ganache a little more shine and helps it stay softer when sliced. You can use a small amount of coconut oil instead, which works especially well with the coconut filling. Let the ganache cool for a little while. Take the cooled cake, leaving it right inside the pan, and pour the warm ganache over the top. Temperatures matter a lot here. The cake should be cool and the ganache should be warm rather than hot. Otherwise, the glaze can turn too thin, soak right into the cake, or won't set smoothly. Gently spread the ganache across the cake. Now we can cut the cake into slices. Use a sharp knife and press down gently so you don't compress the soft cake or push the coconut filling out of place. For cleaner cuts, wipe the blade between slices. If you like, top the cake with a little more unsweetened shredded coconut and finely chopped chocolate. The toppings are optional, but they do more than make the cake look pretty. If you have enough patience, leave the cake at room temperature for about 30 minutes so the ganache can set. But if you really can't wait, you can go ahead and grab yourself a slice. Just look at how moist the chocolate cake is, with that thick, creamy coconut layer in the center, all without cutting or assembling separate cake layers. After tasting it, I can see why this cake is so popular in Brazil. It's definitely one worth making at home. Thank you so much for watching. Give the video a like, and I'll see you in the next one.